The night Doha erupted, the towering columns of black smoke rising over Qatar's sky were no accident, but a precise airstrike aimed directly at the heart of Hamas's leadership. From Reuters to the Times of Israel, sources reported that Khalid Mashal was present at the targeted meeting and was struck. Khalil al-Hayya may also have been on the target list. Just 24 hours after a shooting in Jerusalem, the conflict abruptly expanded beyond Gaza and Lebanon to the capital of a Gulf intermediary nation. According to Avi, this was a calculated snakehead hunt, a furious hawk striking to uproot evil, with rumors that Washington had given the green light. Simultaneously, Gaza trembled as hundreds of meters of tunnels collapsed and command posts were obliterated. The IDF used loudspeakers to announce safe evacuation corridors, yet civilians remained trapped between threats and ambushes. On the information front, Encarcerado aid convoys were looted along the German submarine cable route in North Olagrald. The Houthis launched drones toward Israel. A three-tiered chess game unfolded, a campaign to eliminate leaders, 7 hostages in peril, and threats reverberating on the global stage. Amid this chaos, a final proposal was made to exchange all hostages for a ceasefire. But Hamas declared readiness for peace without disarming. Israel vowed there would be no safe haven for terrorism. The Middle East stands at a crossroads of compromise or destruction. In today's program, we will dissect the cascade of mixed signals from Doha to Gaza, decoding the snakehead hunting strategy and exploring the diplomatic fallout that could upend the regional order. Stay tuned. A geopolitical earthquake has just struck, not in Gaza or the West Bank, but in the heart of Doha, Qatar, a city long considered a safe haven for Hamas's political leaders. On the evening of September 9th, a series of deafening explosions rocked the Qanata district. Black smoke billowed from Doha's modern residential area. As residents fled in panic, the Israeli military announced it had conducted a precision airstrike targeting Hamas's senior leadership. According to Reuters and the Times of Israel, this was no random explosion. The targets were members of Hamas's Politburo, the figures orchestrating terrorist activities against Israel from afar, including the October 7, 2023 attack. Khalid Mashal, a longtime Hamas leader who survived a covert Mossad assassination attempt in Jordan in 1997, was a prominent name. This time, Mossad reportedly had him in their sights at a targeted meeting. Other sources suggested Khalil al-Hayya, an exiled Hamas leader and key negotiator, may also have been targeted. Notably, the Doha airstrike came just one day after Hamas's Al-Qassam brigades claimed responsibility for an attack in Jerusalem on September 8th, where 2 Palestinian gunmen from the West Bank killed at least 6 civilians. A soldier on leave and armed civilians neutralized the attackers on the spot. Hamas publicly declared responsibility for the attack. Israel viewed this as the final straw, and within 24 hours its response extended beyond Gaza and Lebanon to strike Hamas's political headquarters in Doha. According to leaks from Israel's Channel 12, U.S. President Donald Trump officially approved the airstrike. This is a critical detail as Qatar and Egypt have long mediated negotiations between Hamas and Israel. If true, this move signals Washington's escalation, not only backing Israel militarily, but endorsing the elimination of Hamas leaders abroad, an unprecedented step in this conflict. Simultaneously, Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu boarded a secure flight to confer with the military chief of staff. A Shin Bet report indicated the operation used high-precision weapons and intelligence to minimize civilian casualties, despite occurring in a densely populated Doha neighborhood. The international response was swift. Qatar condemned the strike as a cowardly act violating international law and threatening national security. Qatar vowed to investigate at the highest level and declared Israel's reckless actions intolerable. Iran also condemned the strike, calling it a violation of Qatar's sovereignty and warning of a regional escalation spiral. Israel, in contrast, defended its decision, stating the targets were Hamas masterminds behind the October 7 attack and subsequent assaults. Nowhere is safe for terrorists, not even Doha, Israel, declared, signaling that Hamas could no longer hide in Qatar or Turkey. The airstrike marked a strategic pivot. Israel had previously focused on Gaza, Rafah, Khan Yunis, or Hezbollah bases in Lebanon. Now the battlefield extended to a mediating nation, challenging Doha's role and disrupting the Middle East diplomatic order. Security experts noted that Israel's expansion of targets beyond Gaza signaled a new phase of snakehead hunting. If Hamas loses key leaders abroad, its political and diplomatic apparatus could collapse or be paralyzed for years. Concurrently, the U.S. intensified pressure with President Trump, calling this Hamas's last chance to accept a comprehensive hostage exchange or face annihilation. Israeli sources revealed a U.S.-drafted proposal, all 48 hostages released on the first day of a ceasefire in exchange for Israel freeing thousands of Palestinian prisoners. However, Hamas must show goodwill, a prospect far from reality. Instead, Hamas issued a contradictory message, expressing readiness to end hostilities while refusing to disarm until a Palestinian state is established. This led observers to suspect Hamas's negotiation calls were a stalling tactic after the surprise Doha strike. While Israel insisted it used precision weapons to minimize civilian harm, Qatar countered that the targeted apartment buildings were still occupied. A Qatari foreign ministry spokesperson called it a grave threat to civilian safety and a blatant violation of international law. Images of black smoke rising from Doha spread globally, a stark reminder that the Israel-Hamas war has transcended Gaza's borders. This placed Qatar in a precarious position as both mediator and conflict target. In Tehran, Iranian clerics seized the opportunity to fuel anti-Israel and anti-U.S. sentiment, urging global unity against them. Western intelligence warned that Hamas could retaliate with global terrorism, from attacks on Israeli expatriates to sabotaging international communication networks like undersea cables previously targeted. The critical question, can Hamas survive losing its foreign political leadership? If Khaled Mashal and Khalil al-Hayya are eliminated, Hamas would lose its strategic minds, plunging the organization into chaos. However, Israel's move also renders the diplomatic landscape more fragile. Qatar, a key mediator, may withdraw from negotiations. If so, ceasefire prospects could collapse amid unprecedented escalation. Jerusalem is bleeding, Doha is reeling, and Gaza is burning. 3 flashpoints in under 48 hours have pushed the Middle East to the brink of a broader war. Israel has signaled no safe haven for Hamas even in distant Arab capitals. The U.S. warned that without hostage releases, consequences would be severe. Instead of yielding, Hamas declared it would halt hostage-taking. But hold firm, the world now faces a pivotal question. Will Hamas choose compromise or destruction? On day 703 of the Gaza conflict, Gaza City has been engulfed in flames for the past 48 hours. Violent explosions have leveled buildings, and hundreds of meters of Hamas's strategic tunnels have been destroyed by the IDF. This is the next phase of a campaign to encircle the city, which analysts say is in its decisive stage. The IDF also conducted a precision strike on a Hamas headquarters in the city's heart. Meanwhile, Hamas is blocking civilian evacuations, falsely claiming no safe areas exist in the south to maintain a human shield. Despite Israel's evacuation efforts, hundreds of thousands of civilians remain trapped in the crossfire. An estimated 100,000 have fled Gaza City, but 900,000 remain, many held by Hamas as part of its all-out confrontation strategy. On the media front, Western outlets repeat claims that Gaza is starving due to Israel. However, the reality differs. At the Kerem Shalom crossing, where thousands of aid trucks pass daily, Gaza drivers revealed that most aid is hijacked en route by Hamas. Their accusation, "Hamas values our lives at nothing," is a rare outcry from Gazans themselves. Amid this, the U.S. proposed a comprehensive hostage exchange with President Trump, calling it Hamas's final chance to avoid total destruction. The U.S. plan includes releasing all 48 hostages on the first ceasefire day, with Israel freeing thousands of Palestinian prisoners and halting military operations during peace talks. These developments mark a turning point: agreement or annihilation. Gaza City shook again early Sunday as rockets from Gaza were intercepted, with some landing in open areas, triggering red alerts in border communities. The Israeli military operation entered its final phase. The IDF's 99th Division completed its 7th assault on the Jastor neighborhood, isolating the city's southern side from central camps. In this operation, a hundreds of meters long underground tunnel, both the communication line and Hamas's lifeline, was destroyed. The IDF also struck the Al-Saqr Club, a Hamas intelligence hub, used to monitor Israeli troop positions. Hamas had rigged the building with explosives, planning a deadly trap. However, the Israeli Air Force demolished it before the devices could detonate. Colonel Avichai Adrei, the IDF's Arabic spokesperson, issued evacuation notices, but within an hour, Gaza media reported precision strikes on high-rise buildings, one of which housed Hamas's military equipment and command center in the basement. During Operation Guardian of the Walls, Nahal Brigade units swept the Jil neighborhood, destroying an underground command room and killing terrorists hiding there. A secret bunker revealed a maze of tunnels with buildings used as weapons depots and observation posts, all collapsing under IDF assaults. Meanwhile, Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu affirmed Sunday that Israel is dismantling terrorist infrastructure, encircling their positions and establishing a humanitarian zone for Gaza civilians to access aid and medical care. Hamas sabotaged these efforts, spreading false claims of no safe areas in Mawasi. So far, only 100,000 have left Gaza City, while nearly 1 million remain held as human shields. Netanyahu warned that Hamas is shooting women and children in the legs and is prepared to kill them to prevent evacuations. He stressed that civilian evacuation is both a humanitarian duty and an IDF operational principle. We aim to destroy terrorists while enabling civilians to leave. Yet Hamas has turned Gaza City into a giant prison, treating every citizen as a hostage. Amid the war's smoke, Israel continues humanitarian efforts. Since May, over 11,000 trucks have entered Gaza carrying medical equipment, clean water tents, and millions of food parcels. However, the reality contradicts these figures. At Kerem Shalom, where aid flows daily, Gaza drivers revealed that goods disappear en route. One driver stated, "The mix-ins are the problem. Goods vanish, and it's Hamas's doing. They care only about weapons, not Islam or religion." Aid distribution is now limited to organizations like UNICEF or the UN, which operate where Hamas's influence is weaker. The Moran corridor, a key route for people and goods, is entirely blocked by Hamas, preventing food from crossing. As rockets continue to fall, an alarm sound of parallel war on the diplomatic front is shaping the de-escalation zone's future. A U.S. proposal with new negotiation principles was sent to Hamas via veteran mediator Gershon Baskin, who previously secured the release of Israeli soldier Gilad Shalit. Hamas unexpectedly claimed agreement with Qatar and Egypt on a mid-August proposal. However, sources from the negotiating team suggest Hamas favors partial deals over comprehensive ones, raising suspicions of stalling tactics with no intent to end the war. Hamas declared readiness for a comprehensive agreement to end the conflict, but insisted on retaining arms until a Palestinian state is established. President Trump warned, "If we don't get everyone out now, the consequences will be severe." 20 hostages are alive, but some may have recently died. In Cairo, a high-level Hamas delegation led by Finance Minister Zahir Jabarin and including figures like Hassan Badran Razmi Hamad and Mahmoud Madar, met with other Palestinian groups to draft a national roadmap. No concrete agreement has emerged. Meanwhile, Israeli Minister Ron Dermer, a close Netanyahu advisor, will meet Trump administration officials to discuss negotiation progress and next steps if talks fail. Behind the scenes, Chief of Staff Herzi Halevi urged political leaders to secure a comprehensive hostage deal, enabling a devastating blow to Hamas without civilian constraints. The world watches will Hamas refuse, triggering unprecedented fury from Israel and the U.S. A mile north, tensions escalate. The Lebanese government approved a plan to disarm Hezbollah, which the group flatly rejected. As Middle East tensions rise, a new front emerges, not in deserts or seas, but at the Red Sea's bottom. Submarine cables, the backbone of global internet, were severed with the Houthis as prime suspects. On Sunday, Vantage warned that the Middle East could face severe disruptions. NetBlocks confirmed outages in India, Pakistan, and the UAE, where government users reported cripplingly slow systems. This followed the killing of senior Houthi leaders in an airstrike with intelligence warning of Houthi retaliation via technological warfare. Submarine cables are vital to global communications. Repairs can take weeks or months in hostile conditions. Yemen's exiled government has accused the Houthis of targeting cables since early 2024, suspicions now gaining traction. Despite Houthi denials, their history of attacking over 100 warships and commercial vessels since November 2023, killing 80 sailors and sinking 4 ships, undermines their credibility. If confirmed, this cable attack signals a new warfare paradigm, destabilizing billions by targeting global IT infrastructure in opposition to Israel. In Lebanon, another conflict ignites. The government's unprecedented plan to disarm Hezbollah met with defiance. On Sunday night, the IDF intercepted 3 Hezbollah drones before they entered Israeli airspace. Another drone struck Ramon International Airport near Eilat, injuring 1 person and disrupting operations for an hour. Ladies and gentlemen, that concludes our report. Thank you for your attention. Stay tuned for our next updates.